What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's Maverick here, and today we are watching the grand finale of Deca-Dence. So, the big final showdown here, right? We've got Kaburagi and Minato prepared to make one last stand with the Deca-Dence, presumably with the secret weapon that Jill left behind against the bug Gadol. Still really unsure what's actually going to become of the system, how they are going to break free of it, and how are the tankers going to be set free, the humans going to be set free, are they going to take down the system, what actually happened to the world in the past, is it all going to be answered just within this one episode? I mean, I'm seriously concerned as to how good of a ending that we are going to get, but hopefully it'll do the series justice. It is an original series after all. Maybe they can explain everything. Maybe they are planning a second season. I don't know. In any case, let's jump into the episode and find out. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Aw, man. And of course, my little question mark at the very end of last episode, is Kaburagi actually going to survive this? Because there's definitely a lot of death flags flying around here. Although not very prominent ones. Okay, yeah, skip the opening. He needs them all to. Competent. Yes, that was. Oh, no, she didn't. Competence. What? Oh, this thing? Is this like an old Decadence? Oh. Yeah, old Decadence parts. So it was. So what happened to the old Decadences? So do they mean that this same cycle has been going on like for so many generations. You know, kind of like the Matrix in a way. Har har. Suddenly a ton of people. Scale up! Scale up! Don't you have an auto-scaler? Add more servers. All manpower. Woof. Hmm? Yeah, the space compression device. Yeah, even if they take down the Gadol, how do they stop the spatial compression device? Okay, that's a cool drive. Hey, just do whatever you want, right? Oh. The old cities, old ruins. Is this the system? Let me see. Nuclear war? Pollution? Yeah, it's just a system. I don't get it though. Even this is definitely a Matrix reference. They are going full Matrix with this. Uh... No. Yeah, I just like, even if he did defeat the Gadol though, like, they're still under the whims of the system. Kido! Okay. Hmm? How is it? The hell? Okay. So they're basically going to recreate the arm? And why would the Deca-Dence have this type of ability in the first place? How are they? Sky Cannon? Oh, it's... Where the hell did he get that? Oh. Whoa. Man, you guys are way too lucky. Now they have a lot of time, right? I mean, he's not dead, is he? It's just his avatar. Yeah, that's just his avatar. Come on, that doesn't change the fact that that was cool as hell. Oh, it's a spear now. Nice. What? You can... Is that actually going to help? I guess it's the thought that counts. It'd be it'd be a big feat to miss that that dude. All right. Where's Noxizone gonna come from? What? Is he going to remove his limiter? And fully merge with the Deca-Dence? That's the only thing I can think of remaining. Yeah, he's gonna remove his limiter, isn't he? He's gonna fully merge with the Deca-Dence. Now he is Deca-Dence. Nice. Get down, you ugly mother effer. Although to be fair, he was actually kind of he kind of got the short end of the stick as well, right? He was an abused Gadol that just mutated. What about this spatial compression device? Oh, it's just on an auto. Okay. Yep. Now you guys have to live outside the Deca-Dence. Nope. This. Damn. He's really dead? Holy shit. I mean, I can't say that was entirely unexpected, but Damn, they actually... Wow. Three years later. Oh, do they have a way? So basically a clone? Okay, so their work... Deca-Dence. The hell? So they're Harvest Moon now, the game. Or what? Animal Crossing? Oh. Interact 6. So, in avatars and the original bodies and humans. Ooh, that's... all grown up now, our dear Natsume. Natsume Tours. Damn, she's grown to be fine. Is that Kaburagi? How the hell? Ah, but he's not exactly the same, though. Alright, alright. So there we go, a great big finale and one final reunion between Kaburagi and Natsume, who, by the way, like I said, she has turned out to be a fine lady. I guess you could kind of argue that this Kaburagi is not exactly the same as the Kaburagi that was deceased, right? Because he only had memories up to the point where Jill made a backup, right? But then again, these are basically, you know, nearly complete machines in a way, right? Even though they keep on calling themselves cyborgs, I feel like, especially with this, having an entire backup of his memories, his data, his consciousness, if you will, it's more like actual androids and whatnot, rather than cyborgs, which are part human, part machine. I really don't see the human part out of all of this. So, yeah, I guess it's debatable, but it's certainly, I guess, a nice thing for just to let us all see that Kaburagi is still alive and well, in a way, right? You know, you could argue that, I don't know, it get kinds of messy here. If that is actually not a real person and instead something like an AI with that's okay, that's way too complicated. Let's put that aside. It's just a nice little ending here, right? And so we also get to see the humans actually living freely now, and I think with this kind of ending, we can finally confirm that indeed this world does not have any other city that's actually created. So the Deca-Dence, you know, the whole thing the corporation was talking about was a lie. Indeed, there was never any like multiple various living centers on the Earth, and instead, basically, they are the remnants of whatever left of humanity, and so on and so forth, right? In terms of the actual plot progression, I think we can say that it was heavily inspired by Matrix 2 and Matrix 3, the movies, especially that part with Kaburagi confronting the system, right, and you know, having that dialogue there. You can kind of understand the system's point of view, right? So basically, they're treating bugs as a sort of evolutionary process. So in real life, you got mutations. Once you have mutations, you gain certain different characteristics, certain different traits and whatnot, and then of course through the process of evolution, you can keep the good ones and get rid of the bad ones and evolve over time. And so that is basically what this sort of system, this sort of mechanism in the system is supposed to do. You got bugs and you got people that catch bugs. The bugs that survive are integrated, you know, their traits and whatnot are integrated into the system, so the system becomes stronger, more resilient, etc, etc, etc. Now, the thing here, I think, is the biggest difference between Deca-Dence and the Matrix is indeed in how the ending came to be, right? So the Matrix, of course, it was always this sort of war between machines and humans and whatnot, but in this case, the system specifically said that it was created to avoid a situation where humanity is nearly wiped out once again, right? So it probably has the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal of either protecting humanity or protecting the Earth, either one of those two, and it's simply going about it the best way that it can, right? So that's probably why it allowed, even though it's still there, it has no beef with humans, right? It's not like they're trying to have a machine uprising, a machine takeover of the world or anything like that. That's not its purpose. So that's why we are able to have this nice little ending here. Hey, if humans are able to survive and whatnot, then so be it, right? Let them live peacefully. And so what exactly happened to Earth in the end? Don't know, but I think we can make an easy guess that this is a post-apocalyptic world. Maybe World War III, World War IV broke out or something like that. Maybe nuclear radiation, maybe biochemical attacks, something of that sort. So basically, the entire Earth is devoid of human life except for right here, right? I mean, I guess it's nice that it's not a complete barren wasteland, and they are still you can still get nutritious soil, you can still grow crops and whatnot, so it's not entirely hopeless here. So I think that's basically the overall setting of the story. As for the episode at hand, I mean, I don't really know what else to say here. Definitely a lot of things, like what exactly was Jill's secret weapon at the end there, right? It seemed that she made a big deal of this in the last episode and whatnot, but didn't really come into play later on. You know, the remnants of the other Deca-Dences, like, I'm not really sure. Did they actually have any dialogue or any scenes where they talked about that? Like, what happened to the past Deca-Dences? Were they just, I don't know, so did they go through the exact same process numerous times, and then of course killing off everyone, and then well, killing off everyone, that doesn't really work. So where would the last of humanity survive? Maybe like transfer them to the new Deca-Dence or something like that? But that doesn't fit into the lore, as we learned from the tankers, right? They have their own lore about the Deca-Dence and whatnot. They never mentioned that they were hopping from Deca-Dence to Deca-Dence. So I guess that is one of those unexplained things that we're just gonna have to go with, right? Now, definitely the end part there with the spear and all that was pretty cool, right? And I do like that they recycled something that they said earlier on in terms of a limiter, and how when you log into the avatar you have your limiter there, but if you completely remove the limiters, then you can utilize things to its full potential. Although, I think in this aspect, though, having no fuel to run on is not really a case of activating your full potential or not. In fact, I would even argue that logically, by removing your limiter and activating a weapon to its full potential, it would consume even more energy, right? So I didn't really like that aspect of doing these things. The rest I feel like was pretty logical and all that, but it is what it is. And hey, you get a giant spear poking through a giant monster, that's always pretty hype, right? So it wasn't a punch at the end, and I do dig that they actually changed it around into a spear instead. So that was pretty cool. No, once again, like, why did the Deca-Dence have that kind of ability built within it to be able to, it's almost like a living thing in a sort of way to gather different materials and be able to repair itself, etc., etc. Like, why make it? Why design it this way? Those are a lot of unanswered questions here, and probably they're going to remain unanswered. So, that's that. So, I think overall, I would say this is a pretty satisfactory ending, if if very reminiscent of a lot of other works. But then again, the entire series was kind of inspired by that kind of setting, right? Throughout this entire season, throughout this entire series, I've been mentioning numerous different television series or other works which this might potentially be based on. You guys have also contributed some of that as well. So, all in all, I would say that it's a pretty, it's still a pretty good story that manages to conclude with a, with a pretty good ending here at the very end. So, what about the series overall? I definitely feel like this is a good series. This is one of those original works which I'm not getting frustrated about and at a series biting off more than it can chew, right? I feel like they did pretty well. I loved the sort of plot twist that we had right from, I can't even remember the episodes anymore, like episode 2, episode 3, where we get the entire plot twist. You thought that this was a post-apocalyptic world where humans are struggling to survive and whatnot, but then you get the entire thing with, oh, this is actually a machine uprising, this is actually all a simulation, etc., 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 all those kind of mind-blowing aspects. So I really did love that. This is a great twist that I definitely did not see coming, honestly. Even though maybe some hints of weirdness or some things out of place were sprinkled throughout the first episode, I think the twist caught everyone by surprise, and that's always a good thing, because if you can tell the twist, then the entertainment value of it drops a lot. So I love that part. Kaburagi is a pretty good character. Natsume is a pretty good character. I think my gripes with the anime, I already mentioned during the middle portions. I feel like definitely Natsume's character, whatnot, wasn't really developed to its fullest. I felt like the entire tanker society and whatnot, and what they were going through and so on and so forth, was really more of a backdrop to everything else. I really feel like they didn't utilize that to its full potential in order to sort of shape up Natsume's character, why she became the way she is, and then also why she had such a big impact on Kaburagi. Maybe let us learn more about what Kaburagi was once like, and what his what his past was more like. Sure, we got some backstory there, right? But why did Natsume leave such a big impression on him? These things isn't just a one-off, right? It's definitely, you have to build up to it. But then again, this is just a 12-episode series, so I guess we can't really expect too much from that. I'm just saying it would have been nice if it was more, but at the very least they did touch on it, right? The actual action in this series was kind of sort of meh, to be honest. I think back at the very beginning, I originally had a sort of comparison to Attack on Titan in the way that they sort of zoom around and then take down these giant monsters much larger than them, depending on their agility, using some weird weapons and all that. Definitely nowhere near the quality of Attack on Titan in that aspect. It was serviceable, I guess. To me, the most hyped action scenes was definitely when Deca-Dence was activated, and man, that first time it threw out that punch, that was awesome, right? Like, the first time you see the transformation and whatnot, and you're just like, oh damn, this is like a mecha now, right? And that was pretty awesome. We did have some pretty cool weapons, including like the Omega Gadol, including the giant spaceship in the sky with its sky cannon and whatnot, which was really underutilized, I feel. But I think it more than makes up with the story, the setting, and so on and so forth, right? So yeah, have to say overall this was a pretty successful original series. So hats off to the producers here. Hats off to Kadokawa basically for creating this series. I do wonder if they're actually going to have a a sort of how can I call it? A sort of follow up to it. Like what happens after this, or maybe some other supplementary material, so on and so forth. Typically, you might see that kind of stuff happening later on if the series is successful enough. So hopefully that does come through. And yeah, that's basically it for this episode and this series, right? Oh, and I guess one final gripe I have would be that the why exactly did the cyborgs come into existence, and why are they really much more like androids and much less and have much less human parts within them? Like, why were they created that way? Why were they all these kinds of various different shapes and whatnot? That's definitely a lot of questions that I do have, which maybe potentially can be explored later. I'm certainly down with it, right? If they do have some follow up to this. But in any case, thank you guys for joining along this journey through all the 12 episodes. If you've happened to stumble upon my channel by chance, feel free to check out my other works as well. If you like this sort of format where I go through a recap, I go through the blind reaction, and then also always have a review at the very end. If this sort of style suits you, go check out my other works. Or not. You're free to do what you want to do, because everybody has free choice and free will, right? So, thank you guys, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. This is Maddie signing off. Bye-bye.